What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Echoes of Ellum. For our third episode, we have none other than David "Skar" Carpenter. David's past bands include False Idol, Trend Kill Clinic, the Razorblade Dolls, Designed in Chaos, Circle Burn, and currently Lotus Throat. He's opened for the likes of Mindless Self-Indulgence, Wayne Static, Frontline Assembly, Combat Christ, Thrill Kill Cult, Prong, Front 242, Genitorturers, Atari Teenage Riot, Powerman 5000, and many more. I kind of struggle to place Skar's music into a certain genre. Great production, metallic, chugging guitars, laced with electronica and industrial goodness that kind of also sounds like a VHS copy of Hellraiser 2 Hellbound that you found in an abandoned Cyberdyne Systems factory that's been remodeled by Al Jurgensen and Tim Burton. But anyway, that's enough of my rambling. Okay. Let's go ahead and get straight to it.
Perfect timing. That was perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
So what's up, man?
How not much.
Yeah. Just right off the bat, man, I wanted to say I really digging what I just wanted to jump right out and say that I really like what you're doing with Lotus Throat.
Oh,
I went through and kind of, once you sent me the what was it, the Bandcamp link.
Yeah.
Like I found it on YouTube, but there was just the one song, which was cool. But then I went really further down the rabbit hole on Bandcamp, and right up my alley. Love that kind of stuff, man.
Great.
Yeah, the guitars are great, man. Your guitar tones are awesome. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
Really.
That's
really
that Jackson soloist.
What's that?
That's that Jackson soloist that I play on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
My uncle custom built that guitar for me, so it's got got
Nice.
special pickups and everything in it.
So you're so he's like a luthier or something? He does custom work. That's awesome.
He does, but that's not what he does for a living or anything.
Right. Hobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
A hobby that he's really good at. Yeah. Right. Well, I usually start out asking folks, like, if you can kind of maybe tell us a little bit, if you remember your first memories of Ellum, like maybe the first show that really stuck with you when you went back home. You couldn't stop thinking about it, like, what maybe the first band was that really got you kind of, thinking about considering going down there and doing that yourself, something that really inspired you.
Well, the very first band that I've ever seen perform in Ellum, it was at Trees. And it was about 92. I was 14 or 15. I think I was 15. And I followed a bunch of skinheads through the back door of Trees, and it was Brutal Juice, this band Brutal Juice. And that was the first band, like, that was the first, live, like, local club scene band. Now, like, but prior to that, I had been to one big concert. It was Steve Miller and Lou Gramm, which was my very first concert. It was supposed to be Motley Crue, but somehow I ended up going and seeing Steve Miller and Lou Gramm. But as far as, like, the club scene in Ellum, it was at Trees. It was Brutal Juice.
Brutal Juice at Trees. That's awesome.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have a memory that sticks in my mind with them. I don't know a lot about Brutal Juice, but I remember an image of like an album cover with a guy screaming. He's maybe like in a suit, and then the other half of his face is maybe like a gorilla or something.
Yeah, man, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. I was going to say that's that one like cover image that sticks out. One of my favorites at the time when I was a teenager, the age you're talking about, around 14 or 15. Somebody gave me an Ugly Mustard tape.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, I remember at the time, I had heard Metallica and, Slayer and stuff, but I remember hearing Jesus Built My Hot Rod and then that Ugly Mustard tape, like somewhere around the same time.
Yeah.
In the early to mid 90s, and really, really digging, that industrial sound, and then going even further with 9 Inch Nails and Skinny Puppy and, finding the rest of it after that. But it definitely started right there with Jesus Built My Hot Rod and the other one, Ugly Mustard. Yeah. Let's talk about local bands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mustard was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were killer.
I'm looking at when False Idol was active, and you guys would have been active right around the same time period as them, right? I mean,
Well,
like
there was two versions of False Idol. So
that's right. I remember you telling
the
me that.
first version was when I was in high school, and I was, just learning how to play. I was about 13 when we started that band, and it lasted till I was about 18. And then I took about a 3-year stint off of music, was doing some stuff that I won't get into, but it distracted me from life, period. It was not really good stuff. But when I came more clear-headed and straightened my life up, I got back into music and I restarted False Idol, but the music was different and it was like a whole different group of guys. The first version of False Idol, we were kind of more influenced by like Crocus and Pantera and Danzig, bands like that. The second version of False Idol, I was trying to make it an industrial project, and the second version was about 2000, maybe 99, about 99. So it lasted from like 99 to 2002. And I was trying to make it like an industrial project, but I just couldn't find, the right people that were into what I wanted. And it ended up becoming more or less like a groove, like new metal band. And we played Galaxy Club a lot. And, like there was a place over off Walnut and Aldelia. It was, used to go there all the time.
That sounds really familiar. Walnut and Aldelia.
Yeah, it was the Hole in the Wall Club.
Center or something? Oh,
what's that?
I said, was it like in a little shopping center or something?
Yes.
It was?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, though.
It's on I used to go there all the time. But anyway, that's, pretty much.
Yeah.
The second version of False Idol, we were building some traction. We were winning. Like back then, you had to play on a Wednesday night. You didn't get just a weekend gig. You had to play on a Wednesday night. And then when you started bringing people on a Wednesday night, then they'd move you to a Thursday. And then if you could do good on a Thursday night as a headliner, then they would put you as an opener slot for bigger bands, like, on a Friday or Saturday. And basically, we ended up winning a bunch of Battle of the Bands. We got a recording done through Jason Camley. He did Finger Lickin' Good. He did the bass line for Finger Lickin' Good on Revolting Cocks, which was one of Ministry's side projects.
Yeah.
And then we ended up opening up for a band called Push Monkey, who they were doing really good. And then the band just kind of dissipated, and that's when I was like, I'm going full on into what I want to do industrial music wise. And at that point I was living at DLP, the one that was on Singleton and Sylvan area. Oak Cliff.
I remember that place.
Yeah, I lived there for about 2 years. And
you are a brave soul, I must say.
Especially on like New Year's and 4th of July. Oh my goodness.
Man.
The neighborhood would come out firing their guns up in there, man. It was crazy. But that's kind of where I started honing my sound in more.
Right.
Was at that place.
DLP. Yeah. We had a room there briefly, I think somewhere around, God, it must have been like 2000, 2001. We weren't there for very long, though. I remember like we were real close to South 40's room. Yeah. You remember South 40 used to play there?
Yeah. That's about the time that we rehearsed there, around that time.
Okay.
I think I was living there around that time.
Okay.
Upstairs all the way down, lived across. In fact, when I moved into my room, Mayhem, he was moving out of his room, Mayhem, Dimebag's bodyguard.
Yeah.
He was moving out of his room, and he had asked me to help him he said, "I'll give you a keg of beer if you help me move my bed frame downstairs." And I was like, "Oh man, that's awesome. That's no problem." And so I go into his room. His bed frame was a drum riser, by the way. Yeah. So, but awesome. he was a really cool guy.
Mayhem. I miss Daryl so much. God, I'll probably say that on every episode because I do. I miss Daryl every day. Trend Kill Clinic. I kind of like to move chronologically here through that. It looks like on Trend Kill Clinic, this looks like False Idol ended in 2002 and Trend Kill started around that same time. Mm-hmm. You guys picked up from the ashes of False Idol, I guess.
Yeah. Me and Hells were doing the music and, it was all we were using samplers and drum machines and I was playing guitar. We wanted a bass player. We couldn't find a bass player, but we found our friend Blaine, who Hells and I both grew up with. And so we brought Blaine in to play guitar, and I moved to bass. And so that run of Trend Kill Clinic, I played bass. But then Blaine ended up quitting, and around that time I met Raw Stitches, who her and this girl, El Chaos, joined Trend Kill Clinic, and the sound completely changed. Hells went from singing to backup vocals and playing guitar, and I went back to guitar, and Raw played bass, and El sang, and Ron, who is the singer for Lotus Throat, he started out as keyboards, and Nathan Hewitt from Holocaust Humanity played drums, but Nathan ended up leaving and Ron went to drums. And during that time period, we were doing really good. We were playing Clearview a lot, opening up for like Shadow Rockenstein, Maltoro, which was like an offshoot of Ghoultown, playing Clearview a lot. But around that time, there was this kid, and he was at every Trend Kill Clinic show, and finally at one of our shows, he walked up to me and said, Scar, I love what you do, man, and I want to sing in a band. Just let me send you, a sample of what I do. And so I sent him a song that I had written off on the side that was a little more, because the second version of Trend Kill Clinic was kind of this pseudo rockabilly, like this fake rockabilly, fake punk rock with some industrial undertones, nice. It was kind of our own thing, but I had written this song that was more industrial metal, more like Godflesh, Ministry kind of stuff. And I sent it to this kid, and what he sent back blew my mind. And so as a side project, I started the Razorblade Dolls. And that kid was Chris Smith. So what ended up happening is Ron, who was the drummer for Trend Kill Clinic, Hells, Raw, myself, and at the time, this guy, I can't remember his real name, but I know he went by Iconoclast or something. I brought him in. He wasn't really a musician, but he was a cool guy at the time. We started Razorblade Dolls as a side project, and that kind of didn't set well with some people, and Trend Kill Clinic ended up imploding, and we just went with Razorblade Dolls full time. So it was Ron, who not only was the drummer in Trend Kill Clinic, but he was actually the drummer in my very first band, False Idol, in high school. And Raw, who was in Trend Kill Clinic, and Hells, who he was in a little bit of the second False Idol when it was kind of ending, and we had some other little offshoot projects we tried to start that really aren't worth mentioning because we never recorded or wrote any songs under those names.
Right.
But he was the original. So basically, it was members of False Idol and Trend Kill Clinic that we started the Razorblade Dolls with the vocalist Chris Smith, and we had that band for a very long time.
Sounds like so going from False Idol to Trendkill Clinic, you mentioned that you always wanted to add that sampler and electronic element to it, but you didn't have that yet.
Not in
That's how it was
False Idol.
first. I'm sorry?
Not in False Idol, but we did have it in Trendkill Clinic.
In Trendkill, once you made that transition to Trendkill Clinic, you were able to get the samplers and the synths, the keyboards and stuff, and start adding those textures. That's how it was for me. My first band, it was just strings, drums, and a microphone. There was nothing beyond that. And I remember going and I remember going to Guitar Center and looking at like a Roland 808. You remember those?
Oh, I've got one.
Yeah,
I still got one.
What color is it? The black one or
black
the clear
and
one?
Orange?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's rad, dude.
And then I also have the Boss SP 505.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I still have like an old school micro Korg, but a lot of stuff because like with the Razorblade Dolls, we never had a live keyboard player because it was all VS. Well, the first album I used micro Korg, I used the Volbeats, the Korg Volbeats. I used a Boss DR5.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
That sounds Boss DR5. Is that sounds like a stomp box? Is it? Is
no,
it
it's a little black drum machine, but you can do instruments and stuff on it. I've still got that too, man.
Wow.
But
okay, so you're one of those guys. You still got like all that old gear from back then.
I got a lot of it. Yeah, I've got a lot of it.
That's great.
But the first Razorblade Doll album, I wrote most of the keyboard stuff on outboard keyboard equipment. Minus, there's like 2 songs I wrote on Fruity Loops.
Nice.
And, the Ron, he wrote the wrist, and we did that on a Korg Triton. Yeah, we did that on a Korg Triton. The second album, though, was pretty much all VSTs, man. I've been using Cubase for nearly 20 years now.
Right.
But back then I was still kind of learning it, but it was all VSTs. And I never wanted a keyboard player live on stage. I really didn't, because they're pompous assholes, really. I know I am one. It's a joke. But the point is it was much easier just to write, perform, and record all of our keyboard parts and put them on tape. But we still had a real band, 2 guitar players, bass player, drummer, and singer,
Sure.
And we always had to have a drummer that could play to a click track to follow the keyboards.
Right. Dude, I was looking at the list of people that you had opened up for, and I was like, it's just, hit after hit, man. It really is. It's like a lot of killer stuff there. Mindless Self-Indulgence, Wayne Static, Frontline Assembly, Combi Christ, Thrill Kill Cult, Front 242, Genitorturers, Atari Teenage Riot, Power Man 5000. You did Mayhem Fest. Oh, Prong.
Yeah.
Prong. Yeah. God. Yeah. That's quite a list there, but I really wanted to ask about Prong first and foremost. I want to ask about your experience playing a show with those guys.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
We didn't, to be honest with you, we really didn't get to converse with like Tommy Victor too much.
Oh, okay.
So, he was on the bus. He sat on the bus. They played their show. He was back. But as far as the show went over well. That was Designed in Chaos.
Designed in Chaos,
yeah.
Okay.
That was also a side project. I actually created that band as a joke.
Nice.
Because when I created the whole idea for the band, I was really drunk, and I used to get really angry. I used to not be that great of a person. Therapy helps, but
I can so relate to that, man.
Yeah,
believe me, I can relate.
But I was really drunk and really angry at somebody in another band, And I was like, well, I can do what they do, you know, and I'm just going to create this band. And I was like, what am I going to, and I was like, Dick. And then I was like, holy shit, I just designed all this in chaos. You know, I kind of came to, and I was like, I looked over at my bass player at the time, and I was like, holy shit, I just designed this whole thing in chaos. And it clicked in my head, spelled chaos with a K, D-I-K, Dick, designed in chaos. So the audience was always like, Dick, you know. But that was basically all the members of the Razorblade Dolls minus the singer. We got a different singer for that band.
And that ran 2013 to 2017. Okay.
Yeah, but
so like all during, so like basically the whole time Razorblade Dolls was going on.
Well, Razorblade Dolls did stop for a couple of years. But then we started back, and then there was some stuff that happened, and members changing, and then I just kind of got like where I was like, man, it's just not the same, because it wasn't the same. You know, by the very end of the Razorblade Dolls, my 17-year-old son, who's now 21 and in Lithuania for the Army, but at the time he was 17 and he was drumming for us. And
oh wow,
yeah. And then we had Nick Klinger, who was in a band called Just Another Monster. He was playing bass for us, and but it was good. We had fun. We opened for 3 Teeth once as the Razorblade Dolls, and we opened for them once as Design and Chaos too. No, I take that back. It was both times with Razorblade Dolls. But anyway, and I just kind of
3 Teeth. Is that this 3 Teeth, the President X?
Yeah.
Is that them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Man, that's a banger.
They're a good band, dude. They're a really good band. They kind of just came out of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie, I love their work, but their first album, to me, that was like the epitome of industrial metal. Like, it was just such a killer. It wasn't overproduced, and it was raw. You know, it was raw and in your face. You know, it kicked ass, dude. It was just kicked ass. It was anti-commercial, and
they blew me away as well. Whenever I saw them, I was like, whoa! I remember being knocked out by them, and I hadn't been impressed like that in quite a while by a band. They were probably like within the last decade, they're one of like a handful of bands that really blew me away. 3 Teeth is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. We didn't even touch on that one, I guess, when I listed off all the people you had opened for. We didn't even touch on 3 Teeth, actually. Glad you brought that up. And then what about Circle Burn? I see Circle Burn is 2018 to 2021. That's an awesome name too. I love that name.
Evie come up with that name, actually. Evie's the mother of my son, my 5-year-old son, Kason, that you probably see me always talking about.
Oh yeah. He's awesome.
He's got a band too now called Spooky Stuff.
I've seen his drum set.
Yeah. Anyway, it was with Circle Burn. I wanted to do something different, and so instead of making there was no guitars, man. It was all keyboards, but I had written the songs in a punk rock format, but using keyboards. So it was
interesting.
It was pretty cyberpunk, actually. But not what most people think of cyberpunk. Most people, when you think cyberpunk, they think synthwave and shit like that. I may be wrong about that, but what we were doing was taking like a punk rock format, but it was all synthesizers. So we played a few shows, and again, I started to not feel it, so I brought guitar back, and again, stuff kind of happened, you know, just normal life stuff that gets in the way of people's lives. And so she actually is going to keep Circle Burn. I think she's in the process of finding some new members, but we are going to we have a whole album that Ron, because Ron was also in Circle Burn. Ron is the singer for Lotus Throat. Ron Good. But he was also in Circle Burn. And him and I had written a bunch of music for Circle Burn. Him and I, we worked. It's, you know, if you ever find someone that you just click with musically, don't let that go, man, because him and I have that. Like, we're just on the same page. Yeah, and sure, we'll bump heads, raise our voices at each other.
Yeah.
But then we play grab ass and it's over with and we're laughing and the song's completed, you know, and we're both happy. But that's just a trial. What is it? Trial and tribulations.
That's so true. It's special when you find someone like that you have that connection with. I feel like the guys who I was in Samsara with, and nowadays we're in the band Thieves together, particularly the drummer, Ed. I'm the bass player. So me and the drummer, I mean, we've been playing together for 20 plus years now. And I mean, 10 years could go by, but we could still just walk into a room after that 10 years and it would just click right in. And it's like we never left.
So you were in Samsara?
Yeah.
I feel like we played shows with you at Curtain Club.
I'm sure we did, dude. We probably did quite a bit. It's been 20 years, you know, so my memory's definitely foggy on some of that. But
yeah,
we played. I think we played several shows together. But I was in Samsara from, I'm trying to think. Let's see, it was 2002 to 2005. That's when I was in the band.
I think Drink Kill Clinic may have. I don't know. I'm not sure. May have been after you. May have been after you had left or something.
It would have been Drink Kill Clinic. It would have been right in that time period. Yeah. But small world, though. I mean, all the places, all the people that you're mentioning. I mean, I know just about all of them. So
is that Jesus dabbing back there on that picture behind you? On the, it looks like. Is that Jesus doing a dab back there? You know, the dab. What is that?
Oh, right here.
No, the picture.
Right here.
Yes.
That's Pamela Voorhees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from part 3, coming out of the lake. She's got the sweater on. Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know anything about Jason.
Right, yeah. It's from one of the NECA soft goods figures where it actually has the cloth on it. Oh, man, that's rad. Nice.
Yeah. Replica. I did have it hanging on the picture, but Kaysen likes to wear it around the house, so I took it down so he could. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, my daughter, she's 9 years old, but she loves monster movies as well. She loves all that stuff. She's not freaked out by it, you know. She's drawn to it just like I was from a young age, you know. And I try to take it with the special effects angle with her, you know, and tell her, because she's so into it. I'm like, you know, it's a magic trick, you know. That's the way Tom Savini always explained it, right? Yeah.
That's what I tell Kaysen. It's just makeup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that makes it more fun anyway, you know. I mean, but yeah, that's old Pamela back there. And I do have Professor X dabbing. Check this out. I'll see if I can get him in frame here real quick. Yeah, Patrick Stewart. Yeah. So okay. So he was in Circle Burn, Lotus Throat, and then you said also going back to False Idol.
Right? Yeah, my high school days.
Right. So, okay.
I've known him and I have been working on music together for 30-something years.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's so awesome, dude. That you've had that connection for that long. That's great. Man. So what, tell me about Lotus Throat. I mean, I've definitely been waiting to get to that one and see how the inception of that came about.
Well, Lotus Throat is actually Ron's baby. It was his creation. It's our baby now, but it's something that he created. And although he doesn't play guitar, and he can play keyboards, and of course he's a drummer. But he doesn't play like guitar and bass very well. But he can hear guitar riffs and stuff in his head. And so the first couple of songs, you know, he came and hummed some parts to me and we hashed it out. and wrote the songs, and I just was loving what was going on. And so we've been sitting on it for a couple of years, man. And so finally I was like, dude, we got to get this out there, you know? So we started really like trying to kick it into gear. And then when we decided we were going to go live with it, we had met this guy, Michael Clausen. He was in a band called Void, what was it? Void Complex, Terror Void Complex. I'm sorry, Michael. Terror Void Complex. But anyway,
Void.
Yeah,
I'll look him up. Cool.
But he was the singer for that band and the songwriter for that band. It was actually him and this guy Michael, who now has a band called Swarm.
Yeah, I just played a show with them like last month. Yeah,
so
I played out.
But they had ended Terror Void Complex, and because Michael was really wanting to do Swarm, which is cool, But anyway, so I grabbed Michael Clausen and was like, hey man, we need a second live guitar player, because we don't use a live drummer or a live bass player. It's our drums. Right. We don't use loops. There's no pre-made loops. Everything that you're hearing on these backing tracks is us playing on a Yamaha electric drum kit or something we programmed. The bass lines are all me playing bass or Michael playing bass. Because what's cool, we met Michael. Michael's also a songwriter, and he can also record at home and shit. So he's been kicking out some killer fucking songs, dude. And I'm all about it, for the longest, a lot of that weight was on my back. Like, I mean, if I wasn't sitting in my computer almost every other night working on music, these bands that we've had throughout these years wouldn't have had as many songs. Now, I'm not saying that my songs were the hits. I wrote some really good ones, but this guy Michael, dude, he's got this one song that he has just written, and we're about to incorporate into our set, and it fucking blows my mind. I can't wait to play it. So it's a relief to me to finally have that connection with another guitar player, because in the past, the other guitar players were just playing what I had written, with the exception of Chris Telks, who was the lead guitar player for Razorblade Dolls for a long time after Hells left. And he's from the band Nocturne. He was also in Bit Rot. He was also our producer, so he produced those first two Razorblade Doll albums.
Okay.
In fact, the drummer from Swarm was also in a Razorblade Dolls for a little bit, because Ron had left Razorblade Dolls for just a little bit. But so now with Lotus Throat, it's me and Ron and Michael, and we have this chemistry just that I've never experienced before. It's, sure, I've had a chemistry with other people, but what we have now, it's just really blowing my mind with what's coming out. You got me writing, you got Ron writing, you got Michael writing, and then on top of that, you got the three of us writing together. So it's a very eclectic sound, really.
It is.
Yeah, it's not just one sound,
You can tell y'all are all coming from different places, but it all converges right at the right place.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool all together. I'm digging it for sure. I can't wait to play a show with you guys. I'm really looking forward to that, actually.
Well, I'm bringing back this event that I used to host back in 2015 to 17. It's called Deep Ellum Industrial Night. I'm bringing this back. So I'll get with you when we're not doing this, and we'll talk.
No, I mean, if you want to touch on that a little bit, talk about that, go right ahead.
Well, I just mean as far as booking you, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much got the first show booked. I'm not gonna. Well, the headliner is going to be this band called Spank the Nun, and then I got my friend Jeff Pollard. He goes by Spider Legs. He's a DJ, but he's also like a musician, and he does very experimental stuff. He's going to be the DJ that night. And supposed to be Requiem Rust opening up and Static of Masses is in the middle. Still kind of waiting on a full confirmation from those two bands, but if everything goes the way I want it to, it's going to be the lineup. And it's going to be at Reno's. The first one is August 26th.
Okay. So, how long has it been since you've done those? Like what?
6 years.
It's been a little while, right?
6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's got I've gotten a very good response, which I'm kind of surprised about, to be quite honest with you. I'm sometimes known to be the town villain. I don't know if that's something that I just like to say or feel, but
well, also it's just hard to get people to come out these days too.
Oh, especially now, post-COVID.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like it is tougher and tougher. I mean, the couple of the shows I did recently, I only did like maybe 6 as Isle of Belial, my little solo project. And a few of those, it was literally just my wife and the staff there. That was it.
Yeah.
There was nobody there. I was just playing to nobody, but it was still good practice though,
Oh yeah. Stage practice and dress practice.
Yep. Yeah. Because, and I know that if I just keep going, there'll be some good shows in the future too. I'll get on some good bills. So you just can't stop, you just got to keep on keeping on. I mean, I wish I would have learned that lesson a long time ago. I had like a 10-year gap of time where I just didn't play music. And you kind of touched on that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost 10 years. It was probably more like 8 or 9. I had an acoustic guitar, and I would play and come up with stuff in my room and everything, but I wasn't like playing shows or anything.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't do it, man. 3 years was hard, but the 8 years, 9 years, no way.
Yeah. I mean, I had to like push myself back into it. And, but yeah.
Well, man, music for me, I wasn't one of those guys that said, man, I'm going to get a guitar so I can get chicks. I had a lot of demons growing up, a lot of demons. And playing music was therapy for me when I was a child. And that is why I grabbed my first, guitar. So my was a Flying V, Kramer Flying V. It was my uncle's. That's what I learned on. Floyd Rose tremolo, but it had stock pickups and everything. But that is why I got into music, because it gave me an outlet, and to this day, that's the reason I do music. Is it's fun. Number one, it's fun. And it's fun because I'm okay at it. I'm good enough at it. And it's a good relief. I get a lot of my anger and hatred out through my music. I've tried to write happy songs and I just can't do it. I tried to write like Blink 182 shit. I can't. Everything I write it comes out dark sounding,
Dark and dreary, man. I love it. Or heavy.
Heavy.
Dark and dreary, chill, or really heavy. Yeah, either one of those. Like, I don't really listen to that much happy music either. Like, I don't write a lot of happy music. I don't listen to a lot of happy music because, like a lot of the times the music that we listen to matches the emotions I'm feeling on the inside. Perfectly.
Really, what's funny with me is I'm listening to a lot of like old like R&B and shit right now. Like I don't even really listen to the bands that, like, dude, I was 18 when Antichrist Superstar came out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was right there. I was in the prime of when that whole thing exploded, and I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. And really, honestly, like today, I will throw on stuff for nostalgia purposes. And there is an EDM band called Wolf Band that I like a lot. But really, honestly, I'm listening to like, just the two of us. We can make it if we try. I'm listening to shit like that. which I love. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it is kind of shocking because people do think that because of the music that I play, that's all I listen to, and it's no. I like a lot of different kind of stuff. I'm not a big black metal fan. I'm not a big death metal fan. I like vocals that I can feel and understand, and have some kind of harmony, and just not really
Right.
big into the only exception that I make with that is early Skinny Puppy. The way
That stuff is pretty brutal.
yeah.
Yeah. They were so terrifying live back then.
Oh,
Some of
yeah.
the stage and stuff they would have. So bizarre. Nothing like it. Still nothing like them.
Oh, I got my first Skinny Puppy CD when I was like 15, and I was just like, and the reason I found it is because a friend of mine who's also not in this world anymore, he's not in this dimension anymore. He had discovered ministry. Now, see, the thing you got to understand about me is I come from a small town, and although we were 10 minutes from Mesquite, we were still 2 years behind Mesquite. You know what I'm saying? Like in my town, you couldn't buy Guitar World. You had to go to Mesquite to buy Guitar World.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I grew up in Sunnyvale.
I grew up in Forney.
Small world, dude. Yellow Jackets, right?
Jackrabbits.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Jackrabbits.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The Raiders. Yeah, the Sunnyvale Raiders.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, because in Sunnyvale it was the same way. Like, if I wanted to get Guitar World, you had to go up to like 80 in Galloway.
Yep, exactly.
Head up to Mesquite. But you were a bit further out, though.
Yeah,
you were further out on 80. And
across the
Forney
river.
back then was... Yeah, Forney back then was like nothing. I remember Forney at night back then was like a little scary.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was like,
well,
it got dark out there. Yeah.
It was I graduated in 94, and my graduating class was 80 people.
That's probably why we didn't run into each other. You were a little bit older than me. I was class of 2000. So I was about 6 years behind you. Yeah.
Just a little bit older. Just a little bit.
Not much. Not much. I got plenty of gray going on here. Don't worry. I wanted to ask about the Genitorturers, man. I had to ask about playing with them, man. You got anything juicy on that, playing that show? That must have been interesting.
I mean, it was always a great show. It was always a lot of fun. And, I remember seeing Genitorturers as a teenager. So to be able to get to open up the show for them or warm the show up for them, that's basically what it is. It's your warm-up band.
Yeah.
But it was awesome because, you got to see behind-the-scene stuff. When I was a teenager, I seem to remember that they used to have, like, fake dildos and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I got to be honest with you, a lot of those shows after we play, I was trashed. And,
right.
I can't remember 100%.
It's like that for me too, man. It's foggy.
Yeah.
It really is.
But I do know that they were good people and nice people. They, like when we were doing sound check and everything, they would stand there and watch us do our sound check. And we opened for them several times, actually.
Right. That's interesting. So they're actually like really nice folks.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
One of the funnest shows that I really did that was just kind of amazing to me to get to do, believe it or not, was Atari Teenage Riot.
Okay.
They they had that song "Let's Start the Riot," and it was like a Slayer riff they sampled, and it was that fucking break beat, real fast break beat.
Yep.
Watching them on stage with this old, outdated gear, man, like they had Commodore fucking computers and shit on stage. I mean, They had like abacuses on. I mean, it was like, it was just like, what the fuck?
Name.
Yeah. But it was
Yeah.
like, man, this is crazy.
Like high energy. They were like really
High
high
energy.
energy.
Trees was
Yeah.
packed. Everybody's jumping up and down. You know, just intense. You know, very intense.
You mentioned Push Monkey earlier. I love those guys. Push Monkey was great.
Yeah, I've got a flyer floating around
band.
here somewhere. I don't remember that show really, but I do have a flyer floating around here somewhere that says, you know, Push Monkey featuring so and so with False Idol.
Nice.
I should find that and take a picture of it and throw it up on Facebook.
If I didn't have the benefit of a lot of our shows being videotaped, there would have been a lot of it that I probably wouldn't recall now.
Yeah,
for sure. Thankfully, my buddy Nathan always had the camera going.
yeah.
Man, thank you, Nate.
That's nice,
Yeah.
man. I wish I had that because there's so many shows, and now you know you can get on YouTube and search Razorblade Dolls, and you're going to find all kinds of stuff because you know what the Razorblade. Yeah, we used to. Curtain Club was the only place that would let us do this. We used to have gore shows, and the singer, he would cook a pig's head, make a bunch of fake. Yeah, he would cook a pig's head, make a bunch of fake blood, put raw bacon in it, and he would chainsaw the pig head on stage, throw the brains and shit at the audience, throw all the fake blood. Then they loved it. You know, like Razorblade Dolls, we had a lot of momentum. Man, we had a lot of momentum. People fucking loved us. You know, just the chemistry of all of us on stage together, talking about the original lineup, you know, and people just, they loved us. They loved our stage show. The singer, Chris Smith, he would reenact different horror movies as our intro, like he did Hellraiser 2, you know, Julia coming out of the mattress. He did Reanimator. Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean,
did y'all actually have a mattress up on stage?
Yeah, we did.
Came out of
yeah, we we pulled all the inside. What's funny about that, at that show, when we were done, after our set, we threw the mattress. You know, we were headlining, and we threw the mattress out there by the dumpster, and somebody caught the damn thing on fire, man. So, boom, it was the big flames. But you know, like at Trees, we played Trees, and actually got some Christian protesters out there for us, and they didn't like us. Yeah, so that, to us, that was an accomplishment. Like, we were like, all right, you know.
The more controversy, the better.
I mean,
that's probably worked in y'all's favor. Yeah.
We were probably the most obnoxious band, but people loved it, man. And you know, we had a lot of campiness to us. You know, we were kind of like this horror industrial metal, you know, so it's like our industrial elements were kind of like horror sounding leads and John Carpenter-esque, you know, shit. But with Lotus Throat's a little more serious, so it's actually a lot more serious. And with Lotus Throat, everything's real, you know, it's all emotions, and we don't sing about religion or politics. We just.
Uh-oh. We lost him. We'll wait a second, see if we get him back. Oh, he might be jumping back
there. Hello? Can you hear me?
You are. Yep. We got you back.
Yeah, what I was saying is, though, like with the, you know, Razorblade Dolls, we did touch on religion and politics a little bit, but we also had songs that were based on horror movies, or we had a song called They Kill, and that song is basically about us as a band being serial killers, and you better run from us, you know. With Lotus Throat, it's a little more serious, and we use more. It's more of an emotional. I haven't written any lyrics for Lotus Throat. That's pretty much Ron does most of that. Razorblade Dolls, I did write some lyrics like "They Kill," "Fist Face," "With Yourself." I wrote some choruses to some random songs. I think Ron wrote the lyrics to "The Wrists," which is the song that everybody loved. And then of course Smitty, or Chris Smith, we called him Smitty. He, did most of the lyrics for all the other stuff. But with Lotus Throat, it's mainly Ron. And Michael, like I said earlier, Michael's written this new song for Lotus Throat, and he's actually written the lyrics too. And me and Ron listened to it, and we were both just like, bad the fuck ass. And that's always kind of been my thing about being a musician and being in a band with someone. If someone brings something to the table that's good, everybody has to like it. And if we all like it, we're going to perform it for this person. And I don't have to have any emotion. I don't have to have any emotional link tied to this song, because my homeboy does, my brother does. And I'm going to play this song for him because that's what we're in a band for, with each other for, is to help each other out, So.
Hell yeah. Well said, man. Very well said. Man, I think that's probably a good spot to go out right there on. We're right at about 50
Awesome.
minutes, so that was very well said,
Let me ask you a
Um,
question. Have you seen Evil Dead Rise?
I have not yet, but I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. Like, I love Army of Darkness, love Evil Dead 1 and 2. I love the show, the
Evil
TV
Dead,
show.
Ash versus Evil
Ash
Dead.
versus Evil Dead. Yeah, so what about it? Should I?
Yes.
Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right. I'll take your word on that. You seem like someone who knows what's up. So if you're telling me I should check it out, I'm gonna trust that. What do we got? Oh yeah. VHS original copy. Nice. Oh man, the box. That is so cool. Oh, I see the false idol.
Yeah,
that's that tape over there.
First version of false idol. It's kind of funny because the songs that we put on there, it was a song called Deathbed, a song called Under the Wrath of, a song called Christian Vampire, and a song called Agony. And as we were writing it down on a scratch piece of paper, like what songs we're going to use, I said, well, Deathbed's got to be the first song, and the singer wrote Death. And then the bass player said, well, we got to do Under the Wrath of's got to be second, and the singer just wrote Under. And then I was like, well, then Christian Vampire's got to be third, and the singer just wrote Christian. And then, Agony's fourth, and we looked at it, Death Under Christian Agony. And that was the title of the demo, Death Under Christian Agony. Yeah.
Wow. And that's the way you put that together. It was
pretty wild, man. Imagine being 17. I was 17 when that happened. Being 17 and looking at that and being like, it all just clicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, I was going to say real quick before we go, do you want to show off a few of those? Are those old flyers and such right there on the wall behind you?
Is there a way that I can
Is that like
Lotus
Throat?
The view?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. That's okay. I'm not sure how to do it.
Well, yeah,
I'm so inexperienced.
Can you see those?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's when Razorblade Dolls opened up for Prophecy.
Nice.
That was an old T-shirt design. And then, of course, we got us with our buddies in Rivethead, which we do have a show coming up with them July 29th at Reno's.
Yeah, when he referred to Razorblade Dolls, he called it the Rivethead Razorblade Dolls romance.
Yeah, we did have a romance, man.
Yeah, man, he spoke very highly of y'all. Oh, that Scream part.
Yeah, cool. Razorblade Dolls, we've got 2 songs in that movie. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to check that out.
And it's Doug Bradley has a cameo, Pinhead. He has a cameo in it, and then the main star of the movie is Nivek Ogre from Skinny Puppy. So
I am so jealous.
that was a pretty big accomplishment for
God.
me.
Yeah, dude, you're in a horror flick, man. That's
There's
like
actually a character. There's
Dude,
actually a
that's so
character that gets killed, and he's wearing a Razorblade Dolls T-shirt too. So yeah.
what's the title of it again?
Scream
I gotta
Park.
look that up. What's it
Scream
called?
Park.
Scream Park.
Yeah, rent it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna
Rent
check
it
that
because
out.
I get a check every time someone. I'll get it. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Last year,
All right.
man, you know how much I got off
Yeah.
that movie last year? 50 cents.
How much?
Something
50
like that.
cents? Hey, man. I got my first payday from DistroKid the other day. You know how
$5.
much it was? 23 cents, man. Ka-ching. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's why we make
I
big
know,
bucks, right? Yeah. Yeah. No, we do it because we love it,
That's
right?
why.
That's
I mean,
what it
if
is
I wanted
right
to
there.
make money doing music, I'd have done hip hop or country or something.
Amen, dude. Yeah, that's right. All right, dude. Well, I'm so glad, man. Thanks for talking to me,
Oh, hell
geeking
yeah,
out
it was
with
a
me
lot
for a
of
little
fun.
bit. That was really fun, dude. Absolutely, man. You have
All
a
right,
good night,
man.
all right?